Welcome to Market Ratios. Market ratio relates the firm's market value as measured by its current share price to certain accounting values. It gives insights into how investors in the marketplace feel the firm is doing in terms of risk and return. I want to emphasize, basta market ratio, always or most of the time, given ang market price per share. Okay? This ratio is very important because this is one of the ratios that is in line with the goal of a financial manager, which is to maximize shareholders' wealth or to maximize the current share price. So we can assess whether or not that financial manager is able to meet its objective by the use of market ratios. So let's start. So the first here is price to earnings ratio. It measures the amount that investors are willing to pay for each dollar of a firm's earnings. The formula here is market price per share divided by earnings per share. Now we have the market to book ratio. It provides an assessment of how investors view the firm's performance. The formula here is market price per share divided by book value per share. Right now, we have the dividend yield ratio. It shows the rate earned by shareholders from dividend relative to current share price of the stock. The formula here is dividend per share divided by market price per share. And finally, we have the dividend payout ratio. It shows the percentage of earnings paid to shareholders. Okay, let's have a recap. Earnings per share is the maximum amount that the firm can declare for that year. And now we have the dividend per share. So sa dividend payout ratio, we're trying to assess out of the maximum that the company can declare for the year, magkano yung actual na na-declare nila. So that's why we have dividend per share. So we're talking about the dividends declared divided by earnings per share. So, okay, yun yung 4 ratios. Let's now go to the problem. So for the illustration, XYZ company has given the following data. So kung napapansin nyo, yung 4 na given, ito yung mga nasa formulas kanina. So kung isipin nyo, we're just comparing them one and then one over the other. So as you can see, earnings per share of 5 pesos, book value per share of 10 pesos, dividend per share. So we're talking about the dividends declared by the company for the year, 4 pesos, and the market price per share of 15 pesos. So ano yung hinihingi sa atin? Pinapasolve sa atin yung 4 na ratios kanina. So let's go in one by one. So the first here is price to earnings ratio. The formula here is market price per share divided by earnings per share. So yung market price per share of 15 pesos divided by earnings per share of 5 pesos. So the price to earnings ratio is 3. Okay, and then now we have market to book ratio. Market price per share divided by book value per share. So market price per share of 15 pesos divided by book value per share of 10 pesos. So the ratio is 1.5. So I want to emphasize that this is a very good ratio. Kasi nakikita natin or we can see how do investors see our stocks? So, sa problem na to, as we can see, mas mataas yung market price per share in comparison with book value per share. So what does it conclude? It concludes that the management is optimistic about our stocks. Okay? So it means that the investors has or they really have a high prospect for our stocks. So that's why ang taas ng market price in comparison with book value per share because malaki yung expectations ng investors sa shares natin. And dividend yield ratio, dividend per share divided by market price per share. So dividend per share of 4 pesos divided by market price per share of 15 pesos. So the dividend yield ratio is 0.266. And finally, we have dividend payout ratio. So the formula here is dividend per share divided by earnings per share. So yung dineclare ng company, 4 pesos. Yung maximum dividend that the company can declare is 5 pesos. So the dividend payout ratio is 0.8 or 80%. Ano yung mas gusto natin? Kung mas malapit siya sa 1 or 100%, the better. Okay? So this is why dividend payout ratio is important. Kasi we're able to assess magkano ba yung actual na dineclare ng company or yung actual dividends na dineclare ng company. So, okay? So that is for market ratios. So that's it, guys. And thank you for watching this video.